Hi folks, so in this video here what we're going to be doing is focused on a question here based on the topic of circles. The question itself I think is from the Discover Graphics textbook and it's based here on a little roller problem, some kind of like construction industry machinery here, okay? So what we have to do is it's based on circles and you can see here we've got some examples of concentric circles and another circle over here and obviously we have to complete the rest of the detail around it. So first of all, we have to decide where would be an appropriate place to start the question. The most obvious place to actually start the question is either of the two center points. You can either start with this circle here, so with the center point here, or the circles down here which are concentric. Concentric meaning they're the same. So I'm actually going to start with these circles over here. Okay, so we're going to start off with this one here, which has a radius of 10, which is a little bit tricky to do. We have another circle radius 20, and then we actually also have a semicircle radius 25 to do. So that's where I'm going to start with. Okay, any point on your page you can pick as the start point. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to start off by just doing a line. Okay, there's my line. Now on that line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this right here as my start point. So from there, I'm actually going to do a vertical line as well. Nice and light. Now, what I'm going to do is I like to measure on my sheet for my radiuses. So I have a radius of 10. So from the center point out 10, a radius of 20 and 25. Nothing wrong whatsoever if you want to measure using the measurements on your T-square if you have them or on your set squares. But I like to measure it on my sheet. So I'm going to mark there as far as the 10. I'm going to just adjust my lead here slightly. Just a little bit too long. My compass point there to here, there's the 10, and as best I can, a small circle is quite hard to do, so just take your time with it. It's a good compass technique. Okay, there's my 10mm radius circle. I'm going to go out to the 21. Same center point, they're concentric, which means two circles that share the same center point, even if they have different radiuses. And finally, after I get the 21 done, I've also got a radius 25, but this one is only a semicircle. Okay, and there we have it. There is our little bits of detail around here. Now, the next thing I want to focus on is the next circle over here. And where people might make a common mistake is they'll assume you, from here, you just go over 80mm and you drew a circle then radius 30. That's not exactly the case because the center points aren't, even though they're 80mm away from each other, they're not exactly in line, okay, or collinear. So from here, if I just go across, you can see the center point is not collinear. It's actually sitting on top of the radius 10 circle. So from the radius 10 circle on top, from there, if I go across and measure 80, I can now find the center. And if you started here, it's just a case of working backwards by going 80 back and then measuring down 10. So from the top of this guy, the top of the small circle, I'm going to do a light construction line across, and from there I'm going to measure 80mm. So there's the 80. And on that line as well, I always like to draw in my axis line going up and down. Now, on that line there, I'm going to measure 30mm from the center to get my radius. So I assume that's the roller part. Now, center point here. I'm going to do this one lightly to start off with. I'm not going to heavy it in. Just going to put it in ever so lightly. Oh, slips there a little bit myself. And there we go. There's my circle. The reason I haven't put it in heavy is because there's detail here going around it first. Okay, and that's the bit we're going to start off with. So from the center point here, you can see it goes out another 35, and from the center here, it's out 35 this way. So from the two center points, I'm going to measure 35. So from this center point, I'm going to measure 35, put it on the center, back to 0. And from this center point, measure out to 35. Now, from that one there, I'm going to do a vertical line up. And on this one, vertical line up and down like that as well. So it's just a case of putting in the details. So from here, you can see from that center line going out, after I do my line up and down, it's going to actually meet, just to show you there, from the center point, which we have here, it goes down until it's in line with the center on the opposite side. So it actually goes down as far as here. And then to get the top of it, if you follow, look, over here where this wheel, if that goes all the way across, so it's the top of the next wheel, and there we have it. Okay, now the last little bit, I have one other radius to do here, which is a radius of 40, which is concentric with this point. So I have to measure 40 millimeter, and it's just the arc here. So I'm just going to put that in ever so lightly as well. So having measured 30 from the center out to here, I'm also going to measure out 40 from the center. So 4 back to 0. Okay, and the same center point out to the 40. Just do it in ever so lightly, just like that, to start off with. Okay, and now it's simply a case of putting in the additional details. So from here, this point, I'm going to measure up 40, and then it goes up another 10 into there. So, measuring up 40 millimeters here on the left hand side, as far as there. And then what I'll do is I'll actually do a line in like that, and then I'm going to measure up 10. Look, really easy. 7 up to 8 is 10 millimeters. There's that mark there. Connect it down like that. And then, going back to my sheet, what's the height from here then up to here? It's up 35 and over 40. So from here, it's up 35. So I'm just going to use, so my visualizer is getting in the way here. I'm just going to use the 10 mark to mark up to 35. So 10 up to 13 and a half. And then from there, line over, measure 40 millimeters. And from that point there, that will connect down to here to the center point. Okay, we've actually a lot of the work done there now. I'll put in this one last line here. It's just a case of heavying in the correct details. So I'm actually going to switch over here now to a marker, just to heavy in the details, and it'll become a little bit clearer to us. So, maybe there. Maybe there. By all means, move ahead with the video if you want. You can see the finished result. Okay, and now I'm just going to switch out the head of my compass here. Just to one that will take a marker. I'll do this as best and as accurately as I can. Okay, so starting with the radius 10. Best I can. So there's the 10, and to the radius 20. Now obviously if you're at home and you don't have this little attachment, just do it as best you can with pencil or with the lead and the compass. There we go. And then up to this circle here, radius 30. It's a nice little question, good skills question. And then out to here. Okay, you can start to see the detail happening there. Now the last bit, just to finish off this question, okay, is just to see here. We have a little bit of detail here then, where we're going to have to put in kind of, I suppose, maybe where the smoke comes out of the back of it. So from the side of the back wheel, you can see here it goes up to here, and where it hits this inclined line here, From there, we're going to measure up 25, and then we have a little arc radius 10. So that's what we're going to do. So from the side of the wheel, to finish this off, I'm going to do a line up to there. That will give me the start point. And from there, it's up 25. So I'm going to measure using the 10 again. From this point, I'm marking from my 10. I'm going to mark up 25, will get me to 12.5. Should be to there. I'm going to do a line out like this, and I'm going to heavy in that just to there. I'm going to measure out as far as the 10, 1 back to 0. I'm going to do a vertical line up from there. And what's helpful there now is I found my center point. So using my compass once again, a little attachment in, once again another little tricky small one, putting the center point right here into there as best I can. Try and do this without slipping. Nearly managed to slip there, apologies. I'll just slightly rotate it, and I think we almost have it there. There we go. Okay, and just looking at that there now, so that's the problem that we were faced with, and there is the solution. Okay, a little bit of kind of tricky little details in here around the wheels. Okay, and a lot of people might assume that the center point for this one, these circles here, are in the same line as this one. Okay, but you can see they're not. There's a 10mm difference in the heights between them. Okay, that there, guys, is a steamroller question from the Discover Graphics textbook. Hope you found that helpful.